Hello and welcome to Newsblitz. I am Grace AK. Before we continue, remember the coronavirus is a deadly disease, so wash your hands regularly with soap for at least 20 seconds under running water, or you can use a hand sanitizer. Now also wear face masks when outside and maintain physical distancing. We'll begin with this story. President Muhammadu Buhari joined the 28th Vigil Federal Executive Council meeting of the Council Chamber of the State House, Abuja, presided over by Vice President Professor Yemi Osibajo from his home, Daura, in Katsina State. The attendance is the Permanent Secretary, Ecological Funds Office, Mrs. Habiba Lawal, standing in for the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Bas Mustafa, who is self-isolating with his spouse after some members of his family tested positive to COVID-19, and the Chief of Staff, Ibrahim Gambari. 15 ministers are physically attending the meeting. The head of service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemiesan, and all the ministers are participating in the weekly council meeting from their various offices in Abuja. The Nigerian Armed Forces and other security agencies are determined to ensure the safe release of the 333 schoolboys abducted recently from the Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, Katsina State. Coordinator of the Directorate of Defense and Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, stressed the commitment of the security community and to this objective at the media briefing on Wednesday at Defense Headquarters, Abuja. Defense correspondent Aundana Ingia has this report.
There are many versions as to what actually transpired on the day the 333 schoolboys were kidnapped from the Government Science Secondary School, Kankara. The military's version is that even though security agencies got to the scene of the incident, the troops had to apply caution and tact to avoid collateral damage.
The key senior officers and guest dignitaries they went right to the school and dialogued with the principal. Putting all together, yes, it happened at that time, and shooting sporadically, the children ran helter-skelter, and of course they removed some of them. When the troops came, it was not in the best interest of saving life. People want to start exchanging direct fire. Of course, firing to scare was done, but not direct fire. Of course, the children were being used as human shield. Now, what is the aim? What is the end objective? What is are you going to achieve when you have to go and rescue, protect them from carrying the children and end up killing them? So that
Nevertheless, the Army General says the Nigerian Armed Forces are determined to secure the safe release of the students.
And then the interest of the military man, when you are talking about all distractions, the man in the 140 is never distracted. He is thinking of how to deliver the task you gave him. How do I capture the enemy? In this case, the bandits, how do I clear them? So we are committed to that.
Another debate which has dominated discourse recently is the health of military personnel, and for good reason. An Army General has just passed away as a result of COVID-19.
The Army is taking it seriously. And I can say that, yes, we have very capable medical personnel in the armed forces, those that have been trained. In short, the one that is coordinating the one for the Army now, for those everybody being tested, is very, very effective and has been getting accolades. The same thing we have transferred to the fields. So we are not leaving any stone untouched. The Chief of Army Staff has taken it upon himself and his team, the admin branch, the acting corps commander medicals, and they are handling it effectively. And even some were not confirmed that, they tested positive earlier, they are on treatment and they are now normal.
Major General Enenche is quick to dismiss insinuations that Boko Haram are responsible for the abduction of the boys from Kankara. The insinuation is that the Islamic fundamentalist may be trying to take advantage of the unfortunate incident to gain some relevance. From Abuja, Aonduna Inga, Silverbird, News 24.
Staying with security, the Senate has once again raised concerns over the state of insecurity in Nigeria, especially the northeast region. 2 months and 2 motions raised on Tuesday during plenary focused on the recent abduction of over 300 students from Government Secondary School Kankara in Katsina State and the attack on Nigerians in a refugee camp in Niger Republic. Sponsors of the motion, Senators Bello Madia and Abubakar Kari, all agreed that the federal government had failed in its responsibility of protecting the lives of its citizens. Correspondent Georgina Ndukwe Zanyika has this report.
Since 2018, the Senate has raised several motions, organized security summits, and preferred recommendations on how to tackle the situation in the country. while security agencies continue to play catch with the runaway state of insecurity. Just recently, the Senate lamented during plenary the killing of over 43 rice farmers in Borno State. On Tuesday, it was another round of lamentation as the lawmakers reacted to last Friday's abduction of over 300 male students of Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, Katsina State.
Urge the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, to consider and implement the recommendation of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Nigeria Security Challenges, dated March 17, 2020, and Senate resolutions therefrom, as a holistic response to the mounting security challenges across the country.
While still talking about the abduction, Senator Kyari raised a motion on the killing of about 37 Nigerians at an IDP camp in Niger Republic. The lawmakers are asking for extraordinary measures to be adopted. Senator Biodun Olujimi particularly recommended that the 2021 budget be withheld until the president does the needful.
25 were shot to death, 9 died as a result of burns sustained by fire, and 3 drowned in the nearby river while trying to escape. Several others are still missing, and several sustained varying degrees of injuries.
If we decide that government must do something before we will produce the budget, I am sure they will be up and doing. We must start to think outside of the box. We must hold government accountable.
At the level at which people are killed, I think we need to rethink on how to make the security architecture responsive to the security challenges of today in our country.
The very sad narrative has prompted Nigerians to wonder if the National Assembly is deliberately not considering the option of an impeachment proceeding. If the federal government has failed in its responsibility of protecting its citizens from terrorists and armed bandits operating in reckless abandon, should the government not be shown the way out? From the National Assembly, Georgina Ndukwezaika, Silverbird, News 24.
In the meantime, the House of Representatives on Tuesday condemned the abduction of 333 Government Science Secondary School Kankara in Katsina State on Thursday and then Friday rather. And the motion moved by Representative Sarki Ada also stressed the need for the Safe School initiative in states across the Federation. The House also moved in favor of a motion mandating the Minister of State for Labour to stop with immediate effect the commencement of 774,000 special work program to commence in January. The House also is asking the Independent National Electoral Commission to abduct by-election in Anochia South constituency, one in Delta State. The abduction of 333 schoolboys is coming years after several attacks on female school students, to include Chibok, Borno State, Dapchi, Yobe, Ogun, Lagos, among others, bringing the increase in cases of insecurity in Nigeria as a worrisome trend. Kankara village in Katsina State is a recent amongst all following the abduction of schoolboys by bandits. Representative Musa Sarki Ada is urging the House to condemn the callous act while urging the federal government to wake up to its responsibility in protecting lives and property of its citizens in the country.
As today, as members of parliament, we cannot discuss issues of insecurity in this country simply because of some perceived people outside there thinking that anything brought up here is targeted against a personality or is targeted against a regime. Are we not part of the regime?
He's also asking that something urgent must be done in ensuring the schoolboys are reunited with their parents.
Attack on school is a violation of humanity and basic decency. Therefore, the federal government must put a stop to senseless attacks on the hopes and dreams of a generation of children.
It remains to be seen how much effort will be put in place to ensure the rescue of the boys without any harm. The House also moved in favor of a motion calling for the urgent need to stop the circumvention of due process by the Federal Ministry of Labour and Productivity in allocating 774,000 slots in the Special Public Works Programme. The motion, sponsored by Representative Olajide Olatobosun, is urging the House to mandate the Minister of Finance not to release funds for the programme until issues relating to non-compliance to due process are resolved.
Mandate the Minister of State for Labour to stop with immediate effect all processes leading to the commencement of the program on January 5, 2021 until the list of beneficiaries compiled
by the ND in each state is used as a basis of selection.
This House owes Mr. President the right position to advise Mr. President that the decision taken to sack the DG was by ill advice. Mr. Speaker.
Meanwhile, ahead of 2023 general elections, the House is already witnessing defection from the People's Democratic Party to the governing All Progressives Congress. Reading the letter, the Speaker cited crisis rocking the party, but that did not go down well with the minority party, who described the defection as illegal, asking that their seats be declared vacant.
My decision to defect is due to the existence of uncertainty in ABGA, propelled by the continued lingering leadership crisis.
There is no disunity and there are no crises in PDP, either in Kano State or in Nigeria as a whole.
Also at plenary, the House urged the Independent National Electoral Commission to immediately conduct a by-election to fill in their North South constituency in Delta State, moved by the House Minority Leader Ndidi Elumelu.
Assembly constituency, where in our North South we have two constituencies, constituency 1 and 2. INEC left 1 and conducted election in 2 and leaving 1.
Plenary resumes on Wednesday. It is announced that the 2021 appropriation bill will be passed on Monday, December 21st. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, made this announcement during Wednesday's plenary session in Abuja. Senator Lawan announced that the delay was as a result of additional input by the executive, which is currently being worked on by the Senate Committee on Appropriation. He informed senators that there would be a special session of the Senate on the 21st of December to pass the budget. Thereafter, the Senate will officially embark on its Christmas and New Year recess. The House of Representatives has asked the federal government to extend the deadline for the provision of national identification number by telecommunications service subscribers to 10 weeks. The House at plenary on Wednesday described the 2 weeks given to SIM card readers as by the Nigerian Communications Commission to provide their NIN to service providers as grossly inadequate. The minority leader, Ndidi Elumelu, had moved a motion of urgent public importance to demand more time. Adopting the motion, the House resolved that the exercise should end on January 28, 2021, as against December 30, 2020.
The government issued a statement signed by the Director of Public Affairs, Dr. Ikechukwu Andinde, wherein it stated that any telecom subscriber who failed to submit his or her national identity number to each network provider will be blocked from the network with effect from December 31st. The House is concerned that as laudable as the idea behind the policy may seem, the timing is very wrong because Nigerians have not been properly sensitized, as only a few educated persons who bother to read the dailies might have heard about these instructions. Therefore, trying to enforce this policy in a period where most Nigerians are gearing up for Christmas festivities may lead to stampede in the process of rushing to get registered, which could lead to unnecessary death and injuries.
The statement will read, the SIM card verification should be for a duration of 6 weeks, ending 28th February 2021, presupposing a deletion of the first requirement.
Support the motion for an extension of the 2-week lag for the registration of SIM card. But this is an opportunity for Nigerians to know the rationale behind this lofty policy. The minority leader has taken us back to memory lane the effort of this noble house in ensuring that the service provider safeguard Nigeria and also improve the security of Nigeria as a nation. Mr. Speaker, NIMSI, this agency of government, is saddled with the responsibility of issuing unique identification number to all Nigerians. The moment this is done, Mr. Speaker, if I, as Akim Adeyemi, have MTN line, Airtel, Mobile, all this line will be linked with my unique digital identification number.
As the world scrambles for doses of COVID-19 vaccines, the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research Development is urging the federal government and health stakeholders to fund Newsblitz to fight the virus. The Director General of NIPRD, Dr. Obi Adigwe, who gave the advice in an exclusive interview, explained that the homemade remedy would boost the immune system of the most vulnerable Nigerians against COVID-19. He spoke with our correspondent Aishat Olaoye.
Accessing the coronavirus vaccine has taken center stage, and with developed countries strategically positioning themselves, it looks like Nigeria may not be one of the first countries to get a hold of the doses. But there is no reason to despair, as the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development says it has developed an immune booster for the management of COVID-19. This immunomodulatory herbal formation, according to the Director General of NIPRD, is capable of preventing the most vulnerable against the novel virus.
We took a product which is Newsblitz that had been identified via preclinical tests that had the potential to boost the immune system. People who have compromised immune system are most at risk against COVID-19. So what we did was we now work towards repurposing that particular product.
The major challenges facing the success of this homemade immune booster is funding, which is why Dr. Adigwe is calling on agencies and individuals to partner with NIPRD.
But we haven't seen commensurate partnership from the development sector, from philanthropists, from the corporate sector.
It is important to note that the potency of Newsblitz cannot be established until it passes through all clinical trial stages. However, its existence gives a day of hope in the race to contain the second wave of the virus.
Newsblitz, reaching you live from our Abuja studios. We'll be back with more report after this break. So stay with us. Now, Nigeria has secured a $2.5 billion financing loan from Chinese lenders to fund the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano AKK gas pipeline project, which is estimated at that $2.8 billion. The Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, disclosed this on Tuesday in Ajaokuta, Kogi State, during an inspection tour of the project organized by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. The disbursement of the loan for what is being described as the biggest gas pipeline project in Nigeria is expected to commence in earnest. Correspondent Favor Bassi compared this report.
The federal government tagged the year 2020 a year of gas, and this is gradually becoming a reality. President Muhammadu Buhari flagged off the construction of this section of the Trans-Nigeria gas pipeline 6 months ago, and up till now, work at the site has not stopped. It has a capacity to transport about 2.2 billion cubic feet of gas per day. Top officials of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, were here to ascertain the level of work done. The minister said the loan from Chinese lenders to fund the project has been approved.
The constructor that is doing this segment 1 that we've seen is actually doing a very excellent and very high quality job. I will commend the NNPC for their foresight in pushing this project. I'm glad to say that the loan has been concluded and very soon the disbursement will start to the contractor.
The estimated budget for this project is $2.8 billion. Out of this amount, $2.5 billion was borrowed, which accounts for 85% of the entire budget. The Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Mele Kiari, says equity from the corporation's resources will make up the remaining 15% of the budget.
We are creating massive wealth along this pipeline because gas will be available to industries, to power, to everything that you can think of. 85% of the total project scope as loan, and then we provided 15% as equity from NNPC's own resources.
This is the road that leads to Ajaokuta Gas Terminal, otherwise known as Ground Zero. It is the first point of contact for the gas pipelines. Gas will be received from Ground Zero and transported to Abuja, Kaduna, Kano, respectively. Drastic infrastructural development and boosts in economic activities are expected in these states and the other states where the pipelines will pass through. The work on this ground is already 10% completed. The chairman of this indigenous company handling the Phase 1 project, Emeka Okwasa, addresses security concerns.
We do a scan and we know what the issues are, and based on that we deploy the right security. You can see we're working in the middle of the bush, but you can see that we don't appear to have a lot of problems because we are doing the necessary.
This project is expected to boost Nigeria's electricity generation capacity as well as strengthen gas-based industries, thereby boosting the economy.
Renowned Nigerian radio presenter Rita Egujovbo has advised young aspiring journalists to be veracious leaders and information seekers. She gave the advice during the launch of her book called Queen Rita, From Rock Edges to Becoming the Queen. Monica Dene compiled this report.
The book is about a journey of self-discovery. The author details her journey from childhood to adulthood and how the circumstances she faced set her on a path to finding herself. A glittering career in journalism has earned her the title of Queen of the Airwaves. She says she hopes to use her book to inspire and excite those who have started or hope to embark on the journey to journalism.
The mic will give me the power. The camera will give me the power to impact life, telling people's story, changing the narrative by calling attention to the challenges they have. I knew what I wanted and I had to go for it. And so I said to every girl child, what do you want? Go for it.
This book launch is being attended by many players in the media landscape. Former Senator Chris Anyanwu is one of them. She is full of praise for the author and the generation she represents.
Quite frankly, I'm very proud of Nigerian youths of this generation. You people got it, so be confident.
Dio Benjamin Lanier is the book reviewer.
What Rita has done, even in giving the book its title, says from rough edges to becoming the queen. It's an evolution, and I believe that that's what makes her book so resonant with anyone who reads the book. You can see personal journeys coming through to a place of not just achievement, but joyful fulfillment and realization.
This book will prove to be a good read for a young aspiring journalist looking to make a glittering career in the profession. The author will be hoping that those who read her book will gain invaluable knowledge as they make their own way in life and in journalism.
Watching Newsblitz will bring you stories from the foreign scene after this break. Just stay with us. The Democratic Republic of Congo will impose a curfew and other strict measures, including the mandatory wearing of masks in public spaces, to help quell the second wave of the coronavirus pandemic, a virus response team made this known on Wednesday. Congo has recorded just 14,942 cases of coronavirus and 364 deaths from the disease since the epidemic was officially declared in March. But it has seen a steady increase in recent weeks, with 345 new cases declared on Wednesday, most in the capital, Kinshasa. And from Friday, a curfew will be imposed from morning to evening, while marches and meetings of more than 10 people will be banned. The Multi-Sectoral Committee for the Response Against COVID-19 made this known in a statement. And Germany has entered a hard lockdown, closing schools and non-essential businesses in an attempt to stop a sharp rise in COVID-19 infections. The measures will be in place until 10 January. Christmas will see a slight easing, with one household allowed to host up to 4 close family members. The country reported another 952 deaths and 27,728 cases on Wednesday. Meanwhile, EU chief also said that the first COVID vaccine will be authorized for use within a week. Now, South Korea has hit another record high of daily new coronavirus cases since the pandemic began, prompting health officials to consider 11 and even tougher measures to curb the spread of the infection. The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency reported 1,078 more COVID-19 cases, breaking the previous record of 1,030. Most of the new cases were reported from the capital Seoul, the nearby province, as well as the city of Incheon. This is the second time that new cases breached the 1,000 mark. Sports stories are next after this break. Just stay with us. Manchester United legend Paul Scholes has claimed that Chelsea are still 1 year away from challenging for the Premier League title, as players like Mason Mount and Kai Havertz still need time to develop. The Blues suffered their second successive Premier League defeat with a stoppage time 2-1 defeat to Wolves thanks to a late Pedro Neto goal. Chelsea have showed signs of improvement since last season, but Scholes feels they still have a lack of creativity in the squad. The title race promises to be one of the closest and most exciting in years, with just 5 points separating the top 10 so far, with Chelsea sitting on 5th place. And that's Newsblitz for today. Remember, the coronavirus is a deadly disease, so always wash your hands regularly with soap for at least 20 seconds under running water. You can use a hand sanitizer. You must also wear face masks when outside and maintain physical distancing. Thank you for watching. I am Grace Ike. Good evening.